Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to create your own custom catalog in WordPress. You may want to create a catalog because you want to display products on your website but you don't want an online shop. So you might want to display all the products, have a description, have a price, and maybe an inquiry form. There are plugins online that you can download, and you can use WooCommerce, for example, and turn off the shopping cart functionality. But this is going to show you how to create your own catalog and give you full flexibility as to how you want to do it. So let's get started. One thing you'll notice is my theme is extremely simple, and that's just to help you grasp this much easier. Usually I find it when I'm looking at too much, I kind of lose focus and I don't learn as easily. So hopefully this will help you. So I was on a forum today, and I saw someone ask about how something was done on a specific website. And their example was this website, which was basically a trucks website. They sell trucks, and they have a catalog that you can go on, you can view a picture, you can click into it, you can view description, gallery, and inquire about that specific truck. And they wanted to know how it was done. So I'm going to show you, based on this example, how it is done. And this will hopefully help you create your own catalog on your own website. Okay, so we're going to use a couple of plugins to help us along the way, but this is going to be kind of plugin free. You might have one plugin that you're relying on. That's all. Okay, so let's get started. First thing we want to do is any type of new catalog or anything like that is a custom post type in WordPress. So like posts and like pages, it's a different type of post. So we want to create something that's custom, so that on the left hand side of the screen we'll see something that says catalog. We can click into it and add a new item to our catalog, and it doesn't get confused with posts or pages. So to do that, we want to download a plugin called CPT UI. So if you do a search for that, actually go to add new, search, I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, we'll add new and do a search for CPT UI. And we will install it. And activate it. Now that CPT UI is installed, if we go into it, we should see something from a previous tutorial that I did. So I'm just going to delete that, and I'm going to delete this taxonomy as well, and I'm going to start it from scratch. Okay, so first thing we want to do when we go into CPT UI is create a post type. And we're going to call the post type trucks, and we're going to give a plural label of trucks. Now the reason why we give it a plural label is because that's what's going to come up on the left hand side here. And then a singular label is truck. So in case we click on here and it says add new, it might say add new truck. Okay. Then we want to go to the bottom here and we want to choose has archive, and that's so we can have an archive for the trucks. And then we want to just click on add post type. Now, as you can see, we have trucks there, and you can actually edit the post type whilst you're in this plugin and add an icon, so it's not that icon. If you go further down, you'll see menu icon. If you go on Google and do a search for dash icons, you can choose from any of the icons here, and I'll just choose this one. Copy the CSS class and then paste it into here. And if you save it, should change to that picture that you've chosen. So now that we've got trucks, I have some trucks in there which I'm going to delete, and we're going to start again as well. I'm going to go onto this website and I'm going to grab two trucks off there. That's the first one, and this is the second one. Okay, so in our trucks category or trucks catalog, we have two trucks. If we click into a truck, it behaves very similar to how a post or a page does in WordPress. Now we want to add a bit more functionality so we can add some more features here. So The plugin we want to actually, before I do that, we want to actually remove CPT UI. I love not having too many plugins, and I think we don't need to have CPT UI installed. We just need to go to CPT UI, go to Tools. You can leave it if you want, but this is what I'll do. Go to Get Code, copy the code from the custom post type UI, and paste it into our functions.php. So in your theme, you should have a file called functions.php. Every WordPress theme has it. Just paste it in there and save that. Okay, so now that it's saved, what we can do is we can go to plugins and we can deactivate, and you can even delete it. And as you can see, it's deleted now, but trucks is still there on the left hand side. Okay, so now that we have our trucks in there, we want to then maybe add some options in here, maybe add a gallery and all that sort of stuff, which is cool. There is a really amazing plugin. It's probably the best plugin that WordPress has ever had, and I would highly recommend using it. It's called Advanced Custom Fields. Now I'm using Advanced Custom Fields Pro, but Advanced Custom Fields is a free plugin which you can download, and it behaves pretty much the same way. There are some things that it's missing. It's only $100 for a lifetime. So maybe it's a good idea to purchase it if you want to, but you can use the free version as well. So download that if you'd like to, if you just like to use the free version. So I'm going to activate Advanced Custom Fields. Okay, and what that's going to do is allow us to manipulate the options that we have for each product. So we can add in photos, we can add in different descriptions and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so now that we've activated it, we want to go into custom fields, and I'm going to delete that one. That's from a previous tutorial, so I'm sorry about that as well. Okay, so what we want to do firstly in Advanced Custom Fields is click on Add New. We want to add a field group. So let's call it Truck Information. Okay, and then we want to add a field. And what are the fields here on this website? If we go into the actual product, you'll notice that it has a few things. It has new, the make, listing type, make, model, year, stock number, all that sort of stuff. So let's add a few there. So let's do product code, okay, and it's going to be a text field, and then we're going to add another one called, we'll publish that, add another one called make, and we'll also, and that's also going to be a text field, and we'll add another one called model. And we want to add a gallery, so let's call it gallery, and then go down here and look for gallery. So where's gallery? There we go, nice and easy. And maybe we want to do a field to say if it's sold or not. So what we can do is we can call a status, okay, and we'll go to select, which is a select drop-down field, okay, and we can then add some options. So let's just do sold and then a colon and then sold. So sold is the value, and that's the label, okay? And then for sale. And I think because it's this is a value on the left hand side, we should do an underscore there. Okay, and then we just have to hit update. Now that we've added the fields, we need to specify the post type that we want it to come up for. So we're just going to choose post type, and we're going to make it truck, and that's it. Okay, so now if we go into trucks, we should very well see all of those field options there. And as you can see, beautiful, there we are. We have this, which is a standard WordPress area, which we will use for the description. This will be the product code, make, model, and the gallery, which we can then add from the media gallery into. And featured image will probably be the main image for that product. Okay, so let's copy the information from this website. Let's go and grab, actually what I'll do is I'll just use a random English generator. Just grab some random English to put in there in the description of the product anyway. Oh, that website didn't work. Great. Okay, cool. So let's just grab this and paste it into there. And we'll just type in a product code. It's all good. We'll call it a Hino. And what is this? Model is 500 series. Okay, 500 series. And gallery, let's grab some of those photos from the gallery, from their website. I'm just dragging them in from my other screen so you won't see really what I'm doing here. Okay, I'll just get one more. Okay, cool. So we have the photos in our gallery. We have a product code, a make, a model, and a description. And maybe we should do a featured image, and we'll just use that one as a featured image. Cool. Okay, so that's a product. Now what we want to do is we want to display this on the front end. So we've done everything in the back end, and now we want this information to display. So to do that, if we go into our theme, each theme has a template hierarchy. And when you create a custom post type, WordPress looks for a specific file name, which it can then attribute to, say, a single post for that post type. So in this trucks post type, the single page would be single-trucks.php. So what we want to do is we want to create a file called single-trucks, which is already there, which I'm going to delete. So I apologize for that again. And I'm going to go to a standard single.php page, which I have in my theme already, copy the data, go and create a new file called single-trucks.php, paste it in there, and let's just type test in here to make sure that it's actually using that. So it should automatically do it, WordPress. You don't have to tell it to do that. If we go view post now, you should see test there. And now we are using that specific theme, okay? So I'll change that back to the title variable, which will then show us the product name, okay? You'll notice that I also have a picture in here. So I will show you how the pictures work. I'm just going to remove that right now so it doesn't confuse you too much, and paste it into Notepad. Okay, cool. So we have a basic page here with the title of the page, and we also have the basic loop which WordPress uses to show content from each specific page. And we want to include those fields that we've actually added in. So we want to add a product code, make, model, etc. It's really, really straightforward with advanced custom fields. Before I do that, I'm just going to use a bit of Bootstrap to make it look a bit better. So what we'll do is similar to this, how it has content on the left and maybe a sidebar there. So let's just do div row, wrap it around the content. And this content is going to have a column of 8. So div col lg 8. And the sidebar on the right will have div col lg4. And now if we refresh that page, you should see it's a bit thinner and make space for the right hand side. So on the right hand side, what we want to do now is we want to let's create a card, and we'll create a card body. Now these are Bootstrap things, so if you don't have Bootstrap, you don't, I guess, have to use it, but it's just for visuals. Now, what were the fields that we actually added in? If we actually go into custom fields and we go to truck information, you'll notice that their name is this. So product underscore code, make, model, gallery status. Okay. So if we want to show the product code, because it's a text field, all we have to do is do, say, product code, and then PHP the field, the underscore field, product underscore code, and close it. So refresh now, you should see product code ABC123. If I go and change the actual product code, obviously it's dynamic and it's in the database. It's automatically going to change. How easy was that? Okay, so now we have product code, and then we might want to also add in the make and the model. So we'll just copy that, and we'll do make, and we'll also do model and change this to make and model. And we also might want to separate this a bit better than it's separated now, because if we save it and refresh it, they're all going to be in one big line. And yeah, we don't want it to look like that. So what we'll do is we'll take away card body and we'll make an unordered list. List group flush, and then we will do li. Close it off with a ul, and then close off the li's, of course. And we'll also give the class li's of a class list group item. Okay, so let's refresh it again. Okay, so we've got product code, make, model. Maybe if we just pretty this up a bit and give the product code, the make and the model titles a bit of thickness. There we go. So we have product code, make, model, we have the title of the product, and we also have a bit of content and the description. And then we have a gallery, which was on this example here. So I'm not going to make it as fancy just to keep this as simple as possible, but I will show you how the gallery works. So the easiest way, if you're unsure, if you go to the ACF Pro website and just type in ACF Pro Gallery, it will actually give you documentation on how to implement the gallery into your theme or into your template. So what you can do is you can just grab the easiest one, I would think would be, say, this one. And actually, yep, that's the easiest one for me. We'll copy that and we will then paste it into the left-hand side column under the content. Okay, now if we refresh it, you'll notice that the pictures are coming up already, which is awesome. Okay, and when we click into it, it actually just loads a different page. So we don't want it to look like that. But this at least gets them on the page for us to edit the CSS and make it look much better. What we can do right now with this pasted code is we can, using Bootstrap, make the UL class or unordered list a row, and also give the li col lg4, for example. And if we refresh it, it should now put the images in some sort of row. We want the actual image to have a class of image fluid so that it sticks within its own container, as you can see there. And then we want to get rid of these bullet points. So to do that, we want to do list unstyled. And then we should have those images in a nice grid. Now, when you click on the image, yes, it comes up like that. We don't want it to come up like that. We want it to come up in some sort of Lightbox at least. So what you can do is you can use a JavaScript plugin called Magnific Pop-Up. So if we go into Google again and look for Magnific Pop-Up, you should be able to find this first thing on Google. And we want to then go onto GitHub and download it. So we're going to include this directly into the theme as opposed to using a plugin. So just go into documentation, getting started guide, and we'll just see if there's some sort of CDN we could possibly use. Actually, I don't think there is. So what we can do is just download it and we will install into the theme. Okay, so on the website, if we go to the project on GitHub, and then we go to the folder here called dist, which stands for distribution, I think. And it's just a minified version of jQuery Magnific Popup.js and also the CSS. So what we could do is just copy the CSS. Just go into there, go into raw, copy the CSS, and put it into your CSS file, your theme style.css. In my case, I'm using Sass, so it's just a Sass compiler, which will compile it all into my style.css. Okay, and now that that's in there, we just want to get the JS file. So we'll grab that and we'll go into our theme. There's a JS folder there. I can add a new file in there called magnific popup. Save it, magnific popup.js. And we just want to include this into the actual theme. So we're going to enqueue the JS file into the theme. Actually, we need to get this one. We don't want to get that one. This is the minified version. It's only 19 kilobytes, which is awesome. We'll just overwrite that. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to go into your functions.php and you want to load some JavaScript. So as you can see here, I have already a function here which is loading JavaScript, some JavaScript files into the theme. I can copy this and just go JS and then magnific popup.js and just call this magnific popup. You can call it whatever you want and save it. Now, if we go into our theme again, we should see that magnific popup is now included in the theme. So there you go. Okay, beautiful. jQuery is already in the theme as well. So you do need jQuery for magnific popup to run. Now, if we go back to the magnific popup website, there should be some documentation, which there is, and it will explain to you how things work. So if you want to do a gallery, you can click on gallery here on the left-hand side, and then you can, this will show you how it works. So basically, if you grab this and you go into your singletrucks.php, and we want to actually put this into the page so that it loads when a gallery item is clicked onto, and then it will load the image actually inside a magnific popup lightbox. If we go back into the theme and we go into functions.php, in this particular theme, we added magnific popup here to the bottom. We actually wanted our custom or our scripts.js file to be loaded last. So that loads after magnific popup. And then we can paste all of our gallery JavaScript into there for magnific popup. So let's grab that and let's paste that into our scripts. So we have a JS scripts file. Go there, JS scripts. It's a blank file. Paste it in there. And then go into our singletrucks, and we want to then put the gallery item class to the link when it's clicked. So when the link is clicked, okay, which is this one here, so we'll do class equals gallery item, and that should do it. So if we now refresh the page and click on any image, there we go, it comes up, and it's also in a gallery. So it automatically can detect the other images in the gallery. Okay, perfect. So that's the gallery item. And that's the gallery working fine in the Lightbox. And then what we might want to do is we might want to add the featured image on the front page as well. So I had some code before which I removed just so you weren't too confused with it. And it was a bit of code which would allow a post thumbnail. So let's go back into this theme, and on top of the loop for the description, we want to write PHP if has post thumbnail. So it basically checks if the post has a post thumbnail associated with it. Then we want to do image source PHP the post thumbnail URL, and we want to then refer to a specific image size, which I'm going to explain to you now how to do. So whenever you upload an image to WordPress, there are different images that are generated from that. So you might upload a 2000 wide by 2000 high image, but WordPress will automatically create a thumbnail version of it. It will create a medium size and a large version of it, and then you have the ability to use whichever you want. You can also create images custom size to your needs. So if you go into functions.php, you'll notice that I have a couple of things here already, but I'm going to create a new one, and we'll just call it catalog. I'll call it truck. Okay, and we'll make it 800 by 600. And we're going to say true. And what true means is it's going to be hard cropped. Hard crop is basically it will cut out 800 by 600 no matter what. If you make it false, which it will mean that it will keep the whole image relative and it will just shrink it down to maybe 800 high or 600 wide, and it will still look like the same image. Nothing will be cut out of it. Okay, we'll save that. And we will then go back to our singletrucks.php and put the image URL as truck. Okay, and that's just basically going to look for the truck size and attach the image size, image URL to that. Okay, so one thing that you must know is whenever you do add a custom size to your website, you do need to regenerate your thumbnails. So if you go to plugins and you add a new plugin called regenerate thumbnails, or force regenerate thumbnails, you should be able to find a plugin which will allow you to quickly regenerate all the thumbnails on your site. And when it does that, it will then create a size for that new size called truck that you created. Okay, so I'm just going to activate force regenerate thumbnails, go to settings, tools, and then force regenerate thumbnails, and just click on the regenerate button. And as you can see, it's recreated everything. And now what we should be able to do is go into our post, our trucks post, view it, and we do have some sort of PHP code error, so we'll just go back into there, and I have done something wrong. I do know that. PHP if, we have PHP end if, don't we? And we'll just refresh that, and you'll notice now that that picture has come up. And now if we right click on that photo and inspect it, you'll see that it's actually less than 800 by 600. And the reason why that happens is if you upload an image which is smaller than the image that you've created in functions.php, it can't resize it to 800 by 600. So it just makes it the same size as it should be. So let's go back to functions.php and we'll change it to say 600 by 600. And that 600 by 400, or 600 by 500. We'll go back to our force regenerate thumbnails and we'll do the same thing again. Okay, that's regenerated. And if we refresh now, the image will now be 600 by 500. So obviously, if you want it to fit the whole screen, you would want it to be larger than the image size that you've created. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, so now that we have added the title, the featured image, the description, the gallery, and also the content on the right hand side, we need to make sure that when we click into trucks and we look at the actual archive, that it has the data that we want it to display there as well. And as you can see, it's already showing some data there. And that is because it's using the standard archive that comes with WordPress. And what we want to do is we want to create our own archive. So if you go into your theme and you copy the current archive.php file that's in there and create a new file called archive-trucks.php, and inside there I'm going to paste the data from the archive.php. So it's basically going to be a copy of archive.php, but we're going to edit it. It's only going to be editable and viewable through the trucks archive. Okay, so let's now go back in there and we can really attach everything that we had in the single page to our archive. So we could easily just go in here and grab this information and then go into our archive. And as you can see, we have a loop. This is a loop, which means that it's going to loop through every single product in the trucks archive and it's going to show the name of it. So if we go here and we paste that there, refresh it, you'll notice that the product code comes up there. You'll also be able to go and get the image So that featured image will also come up on there if you'd like it to. Okay, so it doesn't look fantastic, but that's how it works. And then you can have a link to the specific single truck page by just doing a link to the permalink. And when that is clicked, it will basically take you to the page for that specific truck. Another thing you might want to do is actually have a form on the single page, and that could potentially even come to the administrator of the website with the name of the product that the person is inquiring about without them having to type it. So what I would highly recommend to use for that would be a plugin called Gravity Forms. Gravity Forms is a premium plugin. You do have to purchase it, but it's a fantastic plugin, and I'll show you basically how to use it now. Okay, so I'm just going to upload my copy of Gravity Forms to the website and just activate the plugin. Now, once Gravity Forms is activated, it will ask us a few questions when we first go into it, which we just need to go through. And we'll just click next, and oops, just click next again. And this is going to allow us to create a really simple form that we can apply to each of the truck's pages. So let's create one called Inquiry Form. And inside there, we just want to put, I guess, your name, make it required, make one called email, one called phone, and we'll do paragraph text as well, which is a text area. And that will basically allow them to type an inquiry if they'd like to inquire about that specific truck. You can make it required or not required. I'm just making everything required. And what also you want to do is add in a hidden field, and this is going to actually have the type of the truck that they're inquiring about. So we'll just do truck type, and we'll do required. Well, actually we don't need to do required because it's automatically going to pre-fill. So if you go into advanced and you go to default value, you should see that you can embed the post title. And you can also hide the actual field from showing for the user. So it's just automatically going to populate in the background. So if we update that, and you'll notice now we have a form there, which is cool. You need to edit the confirmations and the notifications if you'd like to edit what comes in the email to you. But I won't do that in this tutorial. It's quite user-friendly and intuitive. But we want to grab that form and put it into the single truck page. So if we go into that single truck page, let's use some PHP to include that particular form in there. So let's go, if we go into the Gravity Forms website and do a search for, say, Gravity Forms PHP include, which comes to embedding a form, which is what we want. If we scroll down there, it should show us what we need to add in there. So there we go. This is perfect. So we can do one using Ajax. Go into the single truck page, and then on the right hand side column, we might want to add in this. So we'll do div card body, and then do PHP, and then close PHP. And this reflects the ID of the form, and it is definitely one. You can go to the Gravity Forms page to see what the ID of your form is, but as you can see, this one is ID of 1. So if we refresh that now, we should see a Gravity form. Great. Let's just do a bit of tidy up of the design there. Cool. So if, oh, my bad, sorry. What I should do is create one more card, div card, and then do margin bottom 4. And now they should be separated. And maybe if we give that card a title, so we'll just do h5 class equals card title. inquire about, and then just do PHP the title. And if we refresh it, it should say inquire about that specific. It's not card title. What am I doing? It is 1:55 AM, I guess. So if we refresh it now, it should be in a nice little card format. Inquire about that specific product. Fill out name, email, phone. How can we help you? The form doesn't look crash hot, so what we can do is just put a wrapper around this PHP form. So div class equals inquire form. And in our CSS, we'll grab that class. In our CSS, we want to just maybe do something like inquire form. And I'm using Sass here, so you'll notice it might be a bit different to your standard CSS. Inquire form, input type equals text, input type equal comma, type equals email, comma, tell. These are all HTML5 fields. Width equals 100%. Okay. And what that's going to do is it's going to actually extend the inputs within the field. Actually, we need to make it, I think we need to make it important, because it might be overriding the Gravity Forms fields. There we go. So now that we have that, that looks good. Maybe we should also add text area into there. And we should also add maybe border, 1px, solid, and some sort of gray. We'll make it E7, E7, E7. Okay. There we go. So we have all the fields we want, and maybe just the submit button. We want to make that look a bit nicer. So we'll do input type equals submit. And we'll just make it width equals 100% important. Background equals, I don't know, we'll just do green, and we'll do color white. And we'll refresh that now, and we'll take away the border, and we'll just make the padding a bit larger so the button is a bit bigger. Okay, cool. Maybe that's a bit too large. And there is a slight gap between here, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, cool. So you get the gist. If someone wants to inquire about this specific product, they can type in their name, phone, email, type in some details, hit submit. And what should happen is that they should be able to submit the form, but for some reason it's not working, and I will just figure out why. After a bit of digging, I realized that Gravity Forms wasn't liking my version of jQuery, so I just replaced that. And as you can see now, if we do hit submit, it does try and do something. So let's try now and fill it out. So I'll just do Sean at Mr. Digital, put a phone number there, and put test, and hit submit. Now you'll notice that I haven't typed in the truck that I'm interested in, because it's automatically doing it behind the scenes. So if we do submit, it's going a bit slow because we're running on my local server. You'll see, thanks for contacting us. We'll get back to you shortly. This is all determined through Gravity Forms confirmation page, so you can do that for that form if you'd like to change that to whatever. Now if we go into our actual dashboard and click on inquiry form, you'll see the test that I put through, and you'll notice that truck type has automatically been added in there because it fed through. So that is my really ugly looking basic tutorial showing you how to create a simple catalog using WordPress with a gallery, with a form, with some fields that you can add in there. And hopefully this will give you an idea of how it's done, and hopefully you can apply it to your project. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I know this was not the most perfect tutorial. If you have any questions, I will be happy to help you. Good luck. Thank you very much for your time. Have a nice day.